Welcome to SakshiEducation.com. For National Current Affairs. On 12th March 2018, Assam State Government, that is Assam State Finance Minister Himanta Biswa has presented the Assam State's first e-budget to the Assembly. It is a first paperless budget for Assam State, and the total budget of Assam stands at 90,269 crores. The first paperless budget or the first e-budget in the country for any state was presented in Andhra Pradesh on 8th March 2018. So, this will be the first e-budget, electronic budget, the paperless budget, okay, presented by Finance Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Yanamala Ramakrishnudu. So, nearly 1.91 lakh crores of budget was presented to the Andhra Pradesh Assembly. So, we will be having a separate session for discussion of this budget in the economic perspective. So, what are the important promises made by the Finance Minister to the Assembly or to the people of Andhra Pradesh, and what are the new schemes brought down in this budget 2018-19. So, therefore, just to remember, first e-budget presented in any state is Andhra Pradesh, and the second will be the Assam. So, Assam's first e-budget was presented by Himanta Biswa, the Finance Minister of Assam. So, it is nearly 90,269 crores budget. Next, Swachh Gaurav is India's first cloned buffalo calf. This first cloned buffalo calf was born in 12th of March 2018 at Hisar of Haryana. So, remember, Hisar is very important location in Haryana, very important place for examination point of view also, because the Central Institute Research for Buffalo is in Hisar. So, most of the agriculture research takes place in Hisar. So, it may be regarding agriculture or animal husbandry. So, therefore, the CIRB, Central Institute for Research on Buffaloes at Hisar, has given a male calf buffalo to India. So, there will be the first buffalo. Swachh Gaurav is the name given to this calf, and this is a Murray buffalo which was given birth at High-Tech Swachh Farm, Dairy Farm at Hisar. And as per the report by Agriculture Ministry, that is Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, Radha Mohan Singh, India's milk production is increased or up by 20% compared from 2014 to 2017. So, India is now producing nearly 165.3 million tons of milk. So, which is 20% more compared to 2014 records, which is having nearly 137.7 million tons. So, India is the largest producer of milk in the world right now. So, we can speak about white revolution here. So, white revolution is nothing but the production of milk, and Operation Flood was taken place in India during 1970s. And the father of milk revolution or white revolution in India is Varghese Kurian, who is also the founder of Amul Milk. So, which is based in Anand in Gujarat. So, during 1970s, before 1970s, India has deficit of milk production, and now in the year 2017-18, India is the largest producer of milk in the world. So, it produces nearly 165 million tons of milk for the country, and also it exports the milk products to the world. Next, Samvedana 2018. So, Samvedana 2000 is a first ever multilateral humanitarian assistance and disaster relief exercise by Indian Air Force, which was held on March 12, 2018 at Kerala coast. The objective of Samvedana is to stir up humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts for all the 4 representing nations like India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and also UAE participating in this Samvedana 2018. So, India is hosting this event, okay, to give awareness to the countries which are sharing the Indian Ocean. Here Nepal is not sharing Indian Ocean anymore, it is a landlocked country, but Nepal Air Force is also participating in this Samvedana 2018. Such kind of questions will be asked in the competitive exams. So, in point of current affairs, so most of the aspirants just read out for the first time and they go for the examinations, and finally they get confused. So, that is why Nepal does not have any link with Indian Ocean, but even then in Samvedana 2018 it is participating as one of the representative. So, Nepal's Air Force or Sri Lanka Air Force, Bangladesh Air Force or even the UAE Air Force are also participating, okay, in the event. So, in Hindi, Samvedana means empathy. So, feeling is the meaning of Samvedana. Next, End TB Summit, very important for examination point of view. So, this time India has hosted End TB Summit in New Delhi. So, New Delhi is the venue for End TB Summit, which was organized on 13th March 2018, and this is inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is jointly hosted by Ministry of Health, World Health Organization as well as Stop TB Partnership. So, these three has jointly organized End TB Summit 2018 on 13th March in New Delhi. So, coming to Union Minister of Health, it is JB Nadda. So, JP Nadda is the Union Health Minister, and remember he is the only Rajya Sabha member from Himachal Pradesh. So, he represents Rajya Sabha seat from Himachal Pradesh. So, these may be asked in the examinations, because in the month of March he was being elected from Rajya Sabha, okay, seat of Himachal Pradesh, the only Rajya Sabha MP. Next, on behalf of BJP. Next, World Health Organization, which is based in Geneva of Switzerland, which was established on 7th April 1948, and its Director General is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. So, he is newly appointed Director General for WHO in place of Margaret Chan. So, since 2017 onwards, new Director General was appointed to World Health Organization. So, it is also one of the partner for eradicating tuberculosis in India, and the target year for eradicating tuberculosis TB in India is 2030. So, as per the world, okay, it is 2030, and India also set a target to end or eradicate TB by 2030 onwards. Next, coming to Stop TB Partnership. So, we have done with Ministry of Health, then next WHO, then Stop TB Partnership. Okay, it was established in 2000, which was also based in Geneva, Switzerland. So, initially it was organization established by WHO. So, it works under WHO. Next, India's first coastal policing academy was recently inaugurated at Oka of Gujarat. So, the name of that coastal police academy is National Academy of Coastal Policing. So, NACP. So, this will be set up by Bureau of Police Research and Development with security champion from Border Security Force. And remember, Okha, OKHA, the westernmost point of India, which is based in Devbhoomi, Dwarka Nagar district of Gujarat. In the Gujarat map, and the tip of the Gujarat map, you can find Oka, the place Oka. So, it is the westernmost point of India, so near the Arabian Sea. Next, Ministry of State for Textiles Ajay Tamta announced that Government of India has constituted Field Inspection and Scientific Elevation Committee to investigate into the illegal cultivation of herbicide tolerant, so HT cotton, herbicide tolerant cotton, HT cotton it is simply called. So, this is produced in 4 most important states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So, in this sequence, so Gujarat, you know that it is the largest producer of cotton in the world. So, cotton is also known as white gold. So, Gujarat is the largest producer of cotton in the world, and Ahmedabad is known as Manchester of India or Manchester of the East. So, therefore, this illegal cultivation of herbicide cotton is forbidden in India. So, this is being critically being supervised by Ministry of Textiles. On March 14th, the first interaction of 15th Finance Commission was held. So, 15th Finance Commission meeting, the first meeting with MPs of Parliament was held on 14th of March. So, all you know that for examination point of view, the 15th Finance Commission of India was constituted on 27th November 2017, and under Article 280 of the Constitution, the President of India will constitute or set up a Finance Commission for 5 years. And the objective or the main work of Finance Commission is to study the financial or the tax revenue distribution between central and state governments. So, already we are in 14th Finance Commission right now. So, the duration of this 14th Finance Commission is 2015 to 2020. The chairman of 14th Finance Commission is, so it is our Telugu person from Kadapa district. So, it is Y.V. Reddy Garu. So, an IS officer and also ex-governor of Reserve Bank of India. So, he is the current chairman of 14th Finance Commission. And coming to 15th Finance Commission. So, 15th Finance Commission, which was recently constituted, has met for the first time with the MPs of Parliament. So, there may be a question on 15th Finance Commission also, and the President of India has constituted this commission under the chairman N.K. Singh IAS. So, Nanda Kumar Singh IAS is the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, and followed by him we have 4 members. So, very important are Shaktikanta Das, he is the ex Finance Secretary to the Ministry of Finance. Next, Anup Singh, he is a financial expert. So, both of these people, Anup Singh and Shaktikanta Das, are the full-time members of 15th Finance Commission. Next, Ashok Lahiri, and the 4th one is Ramesh Chand. Both are the part-time members of 15th Finance Commission, and remember, Ramesh Chand, an agriculture scientist, an expert in agriculture, is also a member of Niti Aayog. So, National Institute for Transforming India. So, he is also member for Niti Aayog. So, he is a member for both 15th Finance Commission as well as Niti Aayog. So, such kind of questions will be highlighted in the examination point of view. So, who is Ramesh Chand? So, who was Shaktikanta Das? So, who are the full-time and part-time members of Finance Commission? Finance Commission constitutes for how many years? It is 5 years. So, the duration of this 15th Finance Commission is 2020 to 2025. But before this 2020, 2 years before, the President has constituted the 15th Finance Commission, so that the 15th Finance Commission will prepare a draft and understand the financial positions of the center and state governments, and how to distribute the taxes, revenues, schemes, etc. from center to the state, okay, will be implemented from 2020 to 2025. Next, On 14th of March, Union Minister for Petroleum Natural Gas Dharmendra Pradhan has inaugurated the first edition of Delhi Energy Dialogue in New Delhi. So, this Delhi Energy Dialogue 2018 is the first meeting which is jointly organized by ASDEN India Collective in alliance with the Climate Parliament as well as the Energy and Resource Institute, in short it is called TERI. And remember, India currently offers nearly 1 lakh crores of biofuel and bioenergy to the world. And another development here for the current affairs examination point of view is India based Neutrino Observatory, the first India Neutrino Observatory INO. The first project was given environmental clearance by Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change. So, this INO is a particle physics which is a research product to study atmospheric neutrinos in 1300 deep cave under Inno Park near Theni district of Tamil Nadu. So, it is jointly organized by Department of Atomic Energy as well as Department of Science and Technology. On 16th March 2018, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has inaugurated 105th session of Indian Science Congress at Imphal of Manipur. So, this Indian Science Congress actually to be held in Hyderabad, but it was being changed to Imphal of Manipur. So, 105th session of ISC was being inaugurated at Manipur. So, during this inaugural session, Prime Minister of India has highlighted the growth and developments of science and technology field in India, where India is contributing to the world, the technology to the world. And also Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated some other important schemes in Manipur which will be discussed in sports. Next, Niti Aayog released SAT-E project. So, the sustainable action for transforming human capital in education. So, sustainable action for transforming human capital in education is being released by Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant. So, the most important states for the development of sustainable education are Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha. So, Niti Aayog is concentrating in the development, the sustainable development in education, that is in primary and higher educations in these 3 states. So, these 3 states are in collaboration with SAT-E project of Niti Aayog. Next, on 16th and 17th March, the Rising India Summit organized by Network 18, which was held in New Delhi. So, the Rising India Summit is an economic summit, and very important here is Paul Krugman, a noted economist and also 2008 Nobel Prize winner, is a guest of honor for this Rising India Summit. So, this may be asked in the examination. So, who has conducted the Rising India Summit? So, it is conducted by Network 18, the team of Network 18. And who was the chief guest of this Rising India Summit? So, it is Paul Krugman. So, he is noted economist as well as the recipient of 2008 Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. And 5th edition of Nadi Mahotsav was being inaugurated by Nitin Gadkari, the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. And this Nadi Mahotsav was 2-day event which took takes place in Hoshangabad district of Madhya Pradesh. And remember, this was started by Anil Madhav Dave. So, the ex-Minister of Environment and Forest, also climate change. So, Anil Madhav Dave, so who was expired in 2017. So, he is a person, as a philanthropist, he has started a water program, that is preserving water program, known as Nadi Mahotsav, and this year the 5th edition of Nadi Mahotsav was started in Hoshangabad of Madhya Pradesh and inaugurated by Nitin Gadkari. So, Minister for Water Resources, River Waters and Ganga Rejuvenation. And this may be asked in the examination, as Karnataka is going to witness elections in 2018. So, Lingayats. So, the Karnataka State Assembly has recognized Lingayats as a separate religion, and it has given a separate religion status for this Lingayats community. This community constitutes about 17% population in Karnataka, and these Lingayats will worship Lord Shiva. So, they praise Shaivism, and this Lingayatism was founded in the 12th century by its founder, philanthropist and statesman Basavanna of Karnataka, and most of this Lingayat community people are seen in northern parts of Karnataka. So, North Karnataka occupies most of the Lingayats in Karnataka. So, it was given a separate religion status by Karnataka State Assembly. So, this may be asked in the examination. So, Basavanna is a founder of Lingayat religion community in the 12th century, Basavanna. Next, in a report released by SIPRI, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. So, India is the largest importer of arms in the world. From 2013 to 2017, when we have seen the 12% in the world imports are being made by India itself, the global arm importer. So, India is known as the global arm importer in the world. And the largest imports to India was made by Russia and followed by USA. Earlier, African nations or the European nations used to import arms from USA or Russia or even France, UK. But now, India is importing lots of arms. So, it may be highlighting the internal disturbances in India, that is increase or development of right wing extremism in India. So, this is being highlighted by SIPRI, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, so which is based in Stockholm. Next, Supreme Court extends 31st March deadline for Aadhaar linking to financial services such as banking and insurance. Even the Reserve Bank of India and IRDAI, the both regulators for bank and insurance, has also made clear to the banks and insurance companies that linking of Aadhaar to the concerned accounts is being extended anonymously by the Supreme Court. So, there is no deadline for Aadhaar as of now. Of course, linking of Aadhaar to the bank accounts and insurance accounts is mandatory for serious scrutinizing of the accounts and also for distribution of schemes under DBT, direct benefit transfer, to the below poverty line people. Next, are very important for examination point of view after the scam of Punjab National Bank. So, here Reserve Bank of India bars the Indian banks not to issue any LOUs to any person. So, LOU stand for letters of understanding, and even LOCs, letter of comforts, is also being barred by Reserve Bank of India. So, these LOUs and LOCs will be given by Indian banks to the overseas Indian bank branches as an assurance or liquidity on behalf of the customers. So, with this letter of understandings, a beneficiary like Nirav Modi or Mehul Chousky has taken loans from the overseas branches of Punjab National Bank and made it a money laundering. So, a fraud was being witnessed in this Punjab National Bank, and Nirav Modi has been expelled from India. So, presently he is not in India right now, and the economic wing of Mumbai police or the CBI is looking after him for arrest of him. So, because nearly 11,800 crore scam was being witnessed in Punjab National Bank. So, it is only due to this letter of understanding LOUs. So, this is rarely issued by any Indian bank to the overseas branches of Indian banks, okay, as an assurance on behalf of the beneficiary or the customer. And remember LOCs and LCs. So, regarding LCs, the letter of credit. So, regarding letter of credit, Reserve Bank of India has not put any bars, but it has decreased its credit from 3 years to, it has decreased its credit from 3 years to 1 year. And also Reserve Bank of India Governor Urjit Patel has made all the reasons in public regarding the scam of Punjab National Bank, and also urged the Government of India to strengthen the Banking Regulation Act 1949. And remember, the chairman, the managing directors of the public sector banks has not been appointed or removed by the Reserve Bank of India governor. So, they are being appointed according to the Banking Regulation Act 1949 and also New Banking Regulation Act, which is amended in 2013. IBBI and Reserve Bank of India signed MOU for better implementation of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in India. So, the IBBI stands for Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So, Reserve Bank of India, the Central Bank of India has signed to implement the bankruptcy code as well as insolvency. So, if any company is going to insolvent or if any bank is going to insolvent, that is bankruptcy, so there will be a legal procedure. So, this will be followed by the Reserve Bank of India and the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So, and finally, in the national affairs, State Bank of India closes nearly 41.2 lakh bank accounts, that is savings bank accounts, for not maintaining average monthly balances, and it has converted them into Janadhan accounts or basic savings bank accounts, which is also known as a zero balance accounts. Here in this regard, Reserve Bank of India in a statement has said that if any account customer is not maintaining the average minimum balance or monthly balance, will be fined rupees 15 plus GST. Earlier it was rupees 50 plus GST. So, it is reduced to rupees 15 only right now. So, if any person is not maintaining a minimum balance for 3 months, so it will be 15, 15, 15, total 45 plus GST will be imposed. So, regarding this, Reserve Bank of India has cleared that if any person is continuously not maintaining the minimum balance, will be charged the fine, as well as there is a possibility of closing the account by State Bank of India. So, these are the very important national affairs which we have discussed till today. Thank you.